Alright, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to take apart a filter and clean it. Let the intro roll. Alright, so as you can see, after just a day of running, this filter gauge pressure is through the roof. It's only been 24 hours, so that's clearly not good. So what we're going to do in today's video is I'm going to break the whole thing down and clean it and then put it back together. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the pump off. Now, it should go without saying that this is extremely dangerous and that it should have a cover on it. Just turning the pump on and off, you could slip and touch the live wires that are exposed. So again, this is very dangerous and it will be addressed. So with the pump off, I go ahead and I put the multi-port in backwash and then I turn the pump back on. I let it run for a little while, pretty much until the sight glass will go from milky or cloudy to clear, or you could just look at the end of the backwash hose where it's coming out and you'll see it go from a very milky to a clear. So I do that until it goes clear, and then I turn the pump back off and I put it in rinse and I run it for a few seconds. Then I turn it off and I put it back in filter. So basically, every time I'm moving the backwash handle, I'm turning the pump off. It says on the handle, do not, attempt to turn the handle with the pump on. So again, turn the pump off whenever you move the handle. And I just do that. I go back and forth. I go from backwash to rinse to filter. Backwash, rinse, filter. And I keep doing that over and over and over, pretty much until the sight glass goes clear when I have it in backwash. So I put it in backwash and I run it and it goes clear the whole time. After it goes clear, I go ahead and I turn the pump off, and with the filter still in the backwash position, I go ahead and I open the bleeder valve. Now, if you have, in some situations you can deadhead the pump like you see me doing here. The only time I would really do that is in a situation like this where you have the equipment is a lot higher than the pool. And the reason why I'm doing that is because as the filter is draining, it can go back in through the pump and then go out through the bottom drain or the skimmer, and you'll have a bunch of DE in the pool. If that happens, it's not the end of the world. You can just vacuum it. But to keep it from doing that, I go ahead and I deadhead the pump. With that done, I go ahead and I wait for the filter to drain. Because I opened up the bleeder valve on the top of the filter, it's going to allow air to come in. And that air is going to let the filter drain of the water. It'll kind of create a siphon and it'll drain out through the backwash line. So I let that stay for a few minutes. I let it go for a few minutes until the filter drains, and then I can go ahead and I can pull off the nut on the belly band clamp. And when I do that, I try to keep everything together. You don't want to lose it all. A few taps and prying on the band itself, and it should come undone. You give it a tap and it kind of comes undone. Then I can pull that off and go ahead and pull off the tank top. Sometimes you need to get a screwdriver in there and kind of pry it up, but it shouldn't be that difficult. Once I have the top off, I can grab the filter grids by the top of the manifold, and I kind of wiggle it back and forth as I am pulling it straight up. I also pull off the belly band, as you see I'm doing here. And then, like I said, I kind of grab the manifold from the top and I wiggle it back and forth as I'm pulling it straight up. Once I have the grids out, I can then go ahead and take them over to a spot, outside, somewhere outside where I can hose them down. I first hose off the belly band and then I hose off the grids. Now, I'm not going to sit here and have you watching me hose off grids. I'm sure you can figure out how to do that, so we'll just blow past that. Once I have the grids cleaned off, I then take some grease or some magic lube, and I start off by greasing up the standpipe O-ring. Then I put the belly band on, and I put grease in little dabs all the way around the top. Real quick, guys, if you get anything from this video or any of my other videos, please feel free to subscribe and also like the video. It helps out the channel a lot. Once I have the belly band all greased up, I can then go ahead and put the filters back in place. Now there is a little slot, an open slot in the bottom of the grids that has to kind of line up with the standpipe, but it goes in one way. I then put the tank lid back on, and then I put the band back on as well. This can be a little finicky because you got to kind of hold it in place while you get the nut going and started, but you want to make sure that everything, it only kind of goes on one way. So I first put on the small or the small washer, then I put on the spring, and then I put on the washer with the larger hole that goes through the nut itself. You can see I'm tapping the band as I'm tightening it down. That helps to seat the band tightly around the filter. I then put it in filter and I undo the deadhead and I turn it on. You can bleed it through the top if you want, otherwise it'll just go out through the returns. Once I have the tank full, I can then check for leaks. Now, I'm getting ready to add the DE, and so as you can see on the sticker, there's a punch out that lets me know what size it is, and then it says the amount of DE. So everything that you need to know on how much DE that you're going to be adding to your filter, it should be on the side of the tank. Now, sometimes they don't punch that hole out. If not, you can look on like this one. It has the sticker. It says FM plus 60. That lets me know that it's a 60 square feet. If not, sometimes it's on the serial number. It's like the last two digits of the model number or the serial number. Like some Haywards and stuff have that. Once I have all that information and once I know that my filter is good, it's not leaking, I then go ahead and I add a couple of scoops of DE. I'm not going to add all of it. I'm just going to add enough scoops to where if it is blowing back DE, I can see it. So I look at the returns, I put a couple scoops in, I look at the return, and I just make sure that there's no DE blowing back into the pool. Once I know that there's no DE blowing back, I then go ahead and put the rest of my diatomaceous earth in, and I'm good to go. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Also, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.